So we are at Mt Stromlo this Good Friday morning and about to do a lesson with Mic Longhurst. Pretty excited to finally come down for a lesson and then spend the rest of the day going up and down the hill with the shuttle bus.
So what we're going to do is we'll start off with some really basic stuff, okay? Last time when I sort of did a run with you, we talked a bit about body position and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So that's always a nice place to start. And the reason behind that is that body position's everything, right? It's 90% of your riding.
Sure.
Because what you're trying to do is get yourself stable and centered and balanced on the bike, right? So improving that improves your cornering, your downhill, your rock gardens, your cornering, your jumps, like everything we're going to do sort of starts from there. We had a lot of people coming along that sort of like, you know, I want to learn how to hit this big jump, you know, and I want to learn this double black course, and it's like, I'm a really advanced rider, I ride double black, and it's like, well, you look at them and actually it's a beginner with really big balls.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, there isn't any control there. You know, the fundamentals are just not there. So we're just going to start at the top here, and all I want you to do, standing up on the pedals, in however you normally ride the bike, all I want is just an open sort of slalom course down here. Sure. Fundamentally, your body position, the whole idea of it, of what we're trying to achieve, at least initially, is to get centered and low.
Sure.
Right? So the reason for that is obviously stability. Right?
Yeah.
So the more stable you are on the bike, the better you can do basically everything. We use two positions really. People get really caught up in the ready position or the attack position. The downside of that is it is quite low and it makes it hard to maintain. So like, you know, how long can you stand like that?
Yeah.
Right? So we use neutral as well. So the idea of a neutral position is you're fairly centered on the bike, but you're up a little bit higher, right?
Morning, guys.
Morning.
That's your more natural position that you're probably going to ride in when it's a bit flatter, right? If you need some more grip and some more control, then you're dropping into the ready position a bit more. So it's more about that height. You're quite forward, which is good, but you're tending to be a little bit upright, and you sort of move forward that way. Now what that means is, when you're a bit upright, your body weight's in a fairly narrow band, yeah? And a little bit of moving backwards and forwards makes a really big change to your balance on the bike. If you can spread it out a little bit more, and the best way to do that is pivot at the hips a bit more.
All right.
So you can see immediately there, my weight's now quite centered, but I'm spread across the bike a little bit more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And a little bit of backwards and forwards tends to fine tune the balance, rather than, you can see the difference there. If you look at how strong the position is, if I ride like this, right?
Yeah.
All my forward backward is like tricep kick down type exercise. It's all
Yeah.
tricep, right?
Yeah.
As soon as I bring my elbows forward,
Okay.
you can see the difference in the strength in the position. Yeah, I'm now doing a push-up or a bench press, right? That's really strong and balanced. And that's part of the reason why handlebars are getting wider,
Yeah.
because you're in that sort of position. So what we're really looking for is spread out over the bike. So chin over stem, bum over seat, elbows forward. You've really got two choices. There's pros and cons of both. So pedals level is way more stable forward backwards. It's also faster on corners that are side to side, and more stable because you don't have to change position partway through corners. Dropping your outside foot gives you more sideways stability, but it's not so good forward backward, and it's slower between corners because you've got to change foot position. The whole dropping your outside foot doesn't necessarily work everywhere. I tend to not very much. Most of the time on a lot of the corners here. Take it onto the trail, so we're just going to head across the middle bit there. Just have a bit of a play with the body position, bounce up and down a little bit, see how you're feeling, make sure you're feeling comfortable with it. as you're coming down things, obviously, you know, there's always been that mindset of when you're going down a roll down or something like that, you know, getting your weight back, right? And that really is the opposite to what you want to do. As soon as you pull your weight back, your arms straighten out, and
less control.
And it moves, and it starts moving around. You always want to be setting your body position centered and balanced, and letting the bike move. You know, if the track drops down, then you want to drop that bit lower, so you've got a little bit more room to extend your arms. You know, the track comes up, then you might come up a little bit before you get to it so that you can absorb it. The reality is you shouldn't really be in the same body position for more than a few seconds at a time, you know, because there's always undulations and bumps and things, so you're always moving, you're always correcting. Play with your body position, see how it feels. Well, now we're getting on to Stromlo slipperiness. You should start to feel some real difference in traction on the front. If the bike starts to drift, it's going to be more even, it's not going to be just front wheel wash out. Do a little bit of braking. The reason we go through this braking stuff is it's not something people ever practice, but it's one of those things that you will come unstuck with, right? And it takes a bit of time. We've got kind of a line here, which is our stopping line. It's a bit arbitrary. What I want you to do, I'll give you a bit of a demo, is roll down here, stop at the line, using your back brake only, but no skidding. So cruising down, about here somewhere, and stopping without skidding. Starting down the trail. So coming in. Yeah? Cool. Basically showing the back brake doesn't do very much. Okay? So now we're going to stop using both brakes. Okay? But no skidding. See how quickly you can stop using both brakes, but no skidding the back wheel. Nice. Good. Cool. That's really good. When you're going down stuff that's steep and you're controlling, most of your control is going to be on the front brake because your back brake doesn't do anything. Yeah. Right? As soon as you lock the back wheel, it tries to overtake the front wheel. The better your brake control, the more technical terrain you can ride. You know, braking is something that's really, really underrated and people just don't practice. So, you know, you can go down something technical, focus on your braking. So what we try and promote is practice one skill at a time, right? So if I'm teaching you to go around a corner, you know, you've probably all seen the approach of the, okay, look here, brake here, turn this way, lean this way. You don't get any of it, right? So pick a skill that you're going to work on. The way we teach rotation is about sticking your bum out, right? But sticking your bum to the outside of the corner. If I'm cruising along here and I'm turning right, rather than thinking about turning my body in, I'll think about sticking my bum out. Okay. And you can see immediately when I do that, you know, I'm now rotated, I'm pointing around the corner, but my weight's over the bike. Cool. Yeah? Yeah. So you can see how my weight stays over it, and the bike will actually turn as you move. Exercises. If you jump off the bike for a sec, what we're looking for is your belly button's pretty much over your feet, right? So you're in your ready position. Your belly button's kind of staying where it's going to be because that's your center of mass. And you're sticking your bum out to one side or the other. Think about pivoting about your belly button. If you stand straight and just turn like this, right, that's the motion, it's that rotation. Okay. Now lean forward, if your belly button stays the same, feel the difference? If you jump at the back of the bike and sort of assume the position, then you've now got a center line to play with. Right? Okay. If you turn your outside foot, it makes it a bit easier too. Right? So you can see there, my belly button's staying about where it is, my bum's going one side, my upper body's going the other side. That's better. That's better. Yeah. An interesting analogy with it, particularly when we talk about a flow trail, right? So if you look at music, if music's got a good beat to it and a good rhythm, then people dance, right? And they can move with the beat. Trails are the same, right? A really well-designed flow trail will have a rhythm to it, you know? And when you get in the rhythm with it, it starts to really flow well, right? And that's where you look at some of the world trails and dirt up and that really focus on building trails like that compared to your local trail builders getting out cutting something in the bush. They've got a whole pile of math behind what they're doing. It's got to do with how far apart rollers should be, depending on the size of them. You know, how far apart corners should be based on the angles and the tracks, and there's a whole science behind it, which is pretty much like you can compare it back to the science of the rhythm of music, and the beat of music, and it's very similar. So when you're on a flow trail, it works really well, and there's a few here that are like that second half of Skyline, sections like that, some bits on Luge, where you can really get into that rhythm of moving the trail. Okay? And that's where the flow really comes. And you hit a trail like that and you just feel so good. How does that feel?
Yeah. A lot better.
Yeah.
So good. So much better.
Still a few little sketch moments because it's our first time back in a long time. Not so good, but it's we're heading down out here.
Okay.